for world sugar supply and demand, I would like to invite our moderator, Mr. Ravi Gupta, Director, Sri Renuka Sugars Limited, on the stage. A warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for your presence here. To join in, I would like to invite Mr. Rahil Sheikh, Managing Director, Mir Commodities. Thank you. And to join them both, I'd like to invite very senior in the industry, Mr. Naik Navre, who needs no introduction. A warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very, very much. Any of you have got presentations? Raviji? Rahil bhai? Okay, no problem. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. You saw a wonderful presentation by Robin Shaw and Stephen. And I think the parameters which they have given is quite what is happening in the industry. That, over a period of time, we have brought the stocks to the level that it is kind of bare minimum. Yesterday also, Kona had presented that the world sugar and supply is around 28% stock use, which has been the lowest, in last 10 years rather. The highest was 36%. And what is actually happening is that the world is also getting sugar from somewhere or another, and so far they have not felt that there is a dearth of sugar because sugar keeps on getting supplied. The issue is that with the weather patterns which are becoming El Nino and happening all across, I mean, it's such kind of deficit stocks, such kind of very tight stocks are unsustainable, because if anything goes wrong in the production, we might have a real shortage of sugar across the globe. So Rahil, my first question around this, what do you think that how the market will make up these stocks? Is there a way the market can do it? And first of all, do you actually believe the stocks are tight?
Ravi, what has happened after COVID is the rising freight markets, I believe, have destocked a lot of sugar which was available in the countries. So I think, just to give you an idea, before COVID, we were shipping out sugar to Afghanistan at around $100 per containers. As the COVID approach and destocking started to happen, the freight rate to that region increased to $1,200 per container. Similarly, to USA, from 3,000 went up to 30,000. To Europe, from 2,100 to 25,000. So I believe that a lot of destocking at that time has happened. So if we were considering that every importing country was keeping a stock for 90 days or 105 days, which generally is the parameter which I think we all count in, I think at that particular point of time, that just went off the shelf. And I think now I have a very strong belief, because Marex and we keep doing this study, that we are around 40 to 45 days of the pipeline. So what has the freight and COVID have done is shrunk the pipeline completely. And now people have learned to live with this tight stock. And till the time this habit continues, we probably will, as you said, that we'll keep finding the sugar. And now freight rate have again come back down. So now again, Bombay to Dubai is minus $50. Turkey to India is minus $100. So the circle have turned back again. And now I think that if people have first of all learned how to stay with the tight stock, as Indians, we have learned it as well. When Avinash Bhai and we all were like working, we need 3 months, 4 months. Now we suddenly come to a point where we are also surviving at 45-day stock. So on 1st of October, probably we will have a 45-day stock. So I think destocking and learning from this habit of lowering of stocks has evolved in the market. And countries running out of sugar, I think probably that that structure will definitely feel once the Brazilian stops crushing. I think Brazil have from 38 now, everyone have started to increase to 39 and a half. The El Nino has actually not set in Brazil still. There's no rain. I think monsoon have set in India just now. So the weather anomaly is also there. So I think everyone feels that countries will run out of sugar or there will be demand, but I think it will only happen once the Brazilian stops crushing. So I think we are about 2 months, 3 months away from that regime arriving probably.
No, absolutely right. In fact, within this 45 days of stocks, which is average in the world, there are countries which have little higher stocks, let's say EU today, and the countries which are very low at like India. But by and large, I see the consuming countries are actually very, very tight on stocks. We run sugar refineries, so I can tell you that as the prices goes up, I see a little bit demand set back. People will not buy at a higher price. And just in 10, 15 days, there will be a lot of demand coming, which clearly shows that the country even if they try to postpone the demand, it's not happening. And some of the demand, which is like you can say is getting postponed or getting hit, or being made, which is unknown to the industry, somewhere like China, where they say that they are destocking through their reserves. But practically, if you see that, the destocking is 100,000 ton or 200,000 tons sugar, which doesn't help. And we also know that China has been buying in the intertrade market and meeting that requirement. So what I'm trying to say is in terms of the consuming country, the stock is actually even lower than 45 days. And so we can definitely see a very, very critical situation coming. And so for taking this question further, Naiknawari, I just wanted to hear your views on India. Do you think the stocks are really, really tight? And if the trade believes that the stocks were much lower than 5.5 million ton, which the government is taking 7 million ton, do you believe in that? And can India be in a situation that our stock is so tight that we have less sugar to eat?
Well, Ravi, before coming to India, just a quick observations. I think the writing on the wall is very clear. Yesterday we saw Kona's presentation, and today Robinson Stephen's. The next 15 months looks to be tighter on the global side. He's talking of 1.2 million tons deficit this year, 3.7 next year, making to about 5.5 to 6 million tons shortfall deficit between production and consumption. Now that gives a clear picture that the prices, international prices, are definitely going to be in the range that he mentioned, not below 24 and not about 27, 26.5 cents per pound. Having said that, coming to your question, Ravi, India, I would say the numbers are not comfortable, but nothing to panic about. That's the tagline which I've been saying time and again. Not so comfortable because we were in a very comfort zone a couple of years down. Compared to that, we are not in a comfort zone because minimum opening stock required for the government's comfort is 6 million tons to take care of 2.5 to 3 months domestic consumption. This year's closing stock is not 6 million tons, it's slightly below than that, it's 5.8. Now with 5.8, we open this, the opening stock as of 1st October, as the season starts. What boils down to the expected production in 23-24. And that's going to be a little gray area because there are a lot of contradicting and different versions coming out. My own personal analysis on Indian scenario is the main 3 states, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Karnataka, what's happening there. And I'm sharing with you what's happening on the ground, not in the air, not in the speculative field. Coming to UP, I feel UP is doing much better than last year. How much, by what number, is something that we'll come to know maybe once the crushing season starts. But UP having improved their production from last year and Maharashtra going down to almost the same extent would make good the plus and minus between the two. Now the real crux is the Karnataka. On the 30th of last month, there was a cane commissioners meeting, usual review meeting held by DFPD, where the Karnataka number came shockingly at 3.5 million tons. Everybody was taken aback. 3.5 million tons from a drop from 5.5 million tons last year. But subsequently, when we got in touch with the ground, what's happening in Karnataka and various sources, I feel that 3.5 was off this one by a million tons at least. So 4.5 million tons we take Karnataka. Maharashtra is again these retreat rains which are hitting Maharashtra all over. You see, this year, if you see the monsoon pattern of Maharashtra, just today morning, I got the figure that 96% of the average rainfall has been received by Maharashtra. Good to hear that. Oh, where is it raining? It's raining in the periphery of Maharashtra. Konkan on one side, Vidarbha on the other side, where there is not much of cane growing. The cane growing is in the central Maharashtra, naming the districts Sholapur, Ahmednagar, Pune, Sangli. What is the rainfall there? Because that matters for the cane growth. Unfortunately, all these areas went dry. For the last almost 77 years, first time we are seeing August, all 31 days, no rain, not a drop of rain. And that really sent a panic signal to this Maharashtra and parts of Karnataka, where even the standing cane crop was being diverted for fodder. And it was such a panic button pushed there because farmers were getting payment down, cash down against the delivery of immature cane for fodder. And that was sending signals to government here that what would be the Maharashtra number. But the rain god came to help. The retreat rains in Maharashtra. It is still raining, and it will, to some extent, give benefit to the growth of the. Of course, the grand growth stage is over. Let us be clear about that. The grand growth stage of cane is always August and September, not only September, wherein, with the help of photosynthesis, the sucrose content comes in and the weight of the cane goes up. But that stage has gone. Now, these rains will definitely help to improve the health of the standing cane, but how much sucrose it will give is a mute question. But my own feeling is that Maharashtra might touch 10 million tons, not below than 10, against 10.5 last year. And therefore, all India number, as against 33 of last year, I would say 30.5 to 31 million tons would be the net sugar production. Now, that opens up another topic. What will happen to ethanol? Like yesterday we discussed, if there is such a less of production of sugar, would millers be tempted to go for sugar than for subsuming into ethanol? My answer yesterday it remains the same today, that government will not allow that. The ethanol program has to go ahead. So what they will do is encourage by increasing the ethanol price. Ethanol year is starting 1st November, and getting sugar millers to go for ethanol production, but at the same time not allowing the domestic prices to go up. How they will do it is something that we'll have to watch.
Thank you. So, very interesting. I think you have the highest number on Maharashtra of 10 million. Rahil, any comment?
I think looking at what our research team has been going around the field, Isha especially has been traveling a lot into UP, Maharashtra and Karnataka. She's just now present in Karnataka. I tend to agree with Mr. Naiknavade Saab that Karnataka 3.5 was just too low, and technically taking into account was 1.4 million tons of ethanol diversion by the cane commissioner, if I'm not mistaken, Karnataka. So we feel that Karnataka will be around 4.3 to 4.5. So we echo that number. As regards Maharashtra, I think we have done Sholapur, Kolhapur, Sangli, and Pune belt. And I think Pune, especially the Sholapur's peripheral belt, which is Ambalika, down all those regions, are suffering big time from no rains at all. August there was absolutely no rain. Even till yesterday, those regions were like talking about 1 mm, half mm, or filling up a small bottle of water basically. But I think I would go down at Maharashtra at around 9 million tons. I think 10 is a bit high for what we have done. I think I echo the UP number. UP should be about 10.5 to 10.8, more than that. I think another joker in the pack is we are again forgetting Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is again suffering from the rainfall again. So I was speaking with Rajshri. We haven't gone and done the survey there, but I think what they have done this year, I think they're talking about a little lower number than last year. So I think Tamil Nadu helped us going to 31.80 or this year. I think again we have to look at it. Gujarat is very standard, and rest of the country. So I think the difference between all the numbers today is when we were in ISMA's conference was 28.5 to 30.5. And I think the biggest difference was Karnataka with 1.2 million tons and Maharashtra number between 8.3 to 10.1. So that's where the whole range of difference is coming. And I think for Indian standard, 1.5, 2 million of difference of opinion is a justifiable difference. I think we generally used to have a 5 million ton. Now we have narrowed it down to 2 million tons.
No, exactly right. I mean, let's see finally what it comes out, because 1 million or 2 million ton of sugar production here there in the analysis we have seen. In fact, within the same crop year, I have seen the analysis going from 32 to 36 and finally back to 32.8. So let's see what happens. But as of now, what I hear from everyone, the very fact that the cane is being cut and going to fodder is basically cane has dried. I see a very difficult situation in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also. I was talking to Gayatri Sugar. So they have also a little bit stress there. Tamil Nadu, of course, but let's see, because India will always keep everyone guessing. So now going back to the world market, once again, what basically we are now in a situation on the tighter stock, and I think the issue is that where can the supply come from? As I see it, this one supply, source will be definitely Brazil, because Brazil is putting more crystallization capacity. Another 2.5 million ton of sugar extra can come next year from Brazil. But I mean, challenge in Brazil is not producing more. Challenge in Brazil is how to ship that sugar, because you have a limited capacity of 2.7, 2.8 million, or maximum 3 million ton. And actually, this capacity is reducing year on year, because the other grains crop, maybe soybean, corn, is increasing day by day. So that is one place where we can have a little bit more sugar, but with the challenge how to manage the logistics. And in EU, if I see that even if there is an increase in beet planting, they do not produce sugar less than $700, $750. So even if the capacity comes, it will come out of at a higher price. And Russia, Ukraine will balance out. So, I mean, and one hope which we had was from Thailand, that Thailand can grow more sugarcane. But given the cassava versus sugarcane economics, today everybody is going for cassava, not for sugarcane. So the hope rests on India. Do you agree with this view, or do you want to comment on this?
No, I think completely agree. I think the new production will come at an expensive affair. It's not going to be cheap. Secondly, I think we have to also look at consumption. I think we just spoke, Robin and Stephen have spoken about consumption. Since 2014, we are talking sugar as tobacco, sugar as sin tax, sugar at whatever. I mean, but the habit is just not, the consumption have not gone down. Even at this kind of pricing, at 700 and benchmarking at 27 or 28 cent, none of the economists have come up to say, okay, we will be lowering down on consumption by any standard. I think the growth is seen at around 1.5%. And I think next year also, if you look at the deficit, I think it's not counting that increase by about 1.5%, 2%. I think personally, as I mentioned, my first point will be you will again see consumption next year growing, because you will be stocking it again. And I think production growth. I think the challenge is currently the weather, which everybody is talking about. I think edible oil, wheat, rice. I mean, it's not about where you can grow, where the weather will help out. Like Maharashtra got absolutely 96% of the rainfall, but Bombay and Konkan received rainfall as if the whole of India was raining. And the moment you came to Navi Mumbai, it was not raining. So I think you have to divide India today or the world today, where you can grow with proper weather as well. So probably tomorrow you may have 625 million tons of cane in Brazil, but it could be raining in the month of October or November. So where does it happen? So I think month on month weather, month on month production, and consumption needs to be looked at.
100% I agree. And I will only add one thing which people are missing. Last year, we had very tight stocks in Brazil. And April, May, luckily the soya season and the corn season got delayed, so there was little bit capacity which came to rescue of sugar. But it may not happen every year, because if the crops are on time, then you will have less capacity for sugar, and we might see very tight April, May. So continuing with the price thing, Mr. Nagnaware, I have a question to ask you. Now you see, I mean, the consensus is that the world does not have sugar, and even if sugar comes, it will come at a higher cost in EU, let's say at $700, $800. So we are going to see this scenario in the times to come. In this case, why should not the industry go and tell the government that this is the situation, and why should we not now, are we in a state that we can tell the government to have a little bit higher tolerance for the domestic prices as the world prices will continue to be high? What is your view there?
Very interesting. Yes. I think in ISMA conference, I mentioned this in my presentation. The mind paradigm of government is fixed at maximum retail price of 43 rupees a kg, which needs to change. I spoke this in presence of government representatives there. I said the time has come where we need to go up to at least 45. So let there not be any panic button pressed till the retail price becomes 45. So once the retail price becomes 45, you deduct 8 rupees from that per kg. That becomes your ex-mill price. So 37 is a comfortable. My average cost of production across the country is 35 rupees a kg. So we keep a margin of 2 rupees there. And that is how we need to first change and this 43 rupees retail price has been there for a number of years. I think there's a time we need to change. We mean the sense government. They need not be panicky the moment it touches 43, 44 across the country. Now, second thing is government policies. I mean, yesterday also I mentioned about it, that they are for the industry, no doubt. The Department of Food and Public Distribution is completely with us. The Commerce Ministry, for that matter, the Petroleum Ministry and the PMO. Everybody thinks that now is the time where the sugar industry of India has to shine, and it is already shining on the global map. But how to go about? See, the greatest challenge here, in my opinion, Ravi, are two. One, the forthcoming elections, just around about 6-7 months down from parliamentary elections, followed by assembly elections in major states like Maharashtra and UP. Second challenge is the El Nino. Now, El Nino's behavior, if you see, right in the beginning, I remember I was in VSI conference, and in front of Mr. Sharad Pawarji, I first time flagged the issue of El Nino. I think it was January, February of this year. That this is what the American forecast has come, and this is what it's going to affect. Fortunately, the cane growing area of India escaped that. Some parts of southern India came into El Nino, but El Nino is not gone. As we can see, last 2-3 days we have been talking about El Nino, and that's going to be a challenge, and government cannot overlook that particular portion. And we are just now talking about 23-24, but I'm really worried about 24-25. The season 24-25 is for which the cane plantation takes place now, especially in the state of Maharashtra, where the plantation starts from July onwards. No plantation has taken place. Now we come September. Let's see, these September rains help them to keep. So one has to take a short-term and a long-term view. The short-term obviously is going to be driven by the election fear, that inflation, though sugar percentage in the overall food inflation is just 1.31%. So that is also another advantage for us. Advantage in the sense for the industry association like us to argue our point that where does the sugar fit into the inflation? Nowhere. So don't worry, keep it to 45 rupees comfort level. If it crosses 45, you pitch in with your interventions and allow exports. Yesterday I mentioned after the conference, a lot of people cross-checked with me. How are you saying exports taking place? Even Kona was of the view that EDF man, as a company, is not expecting any Indian sugar to come. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm optimistic. Stocks will be there, and we are going to show them that 2.5 million tons is going to be there, and we need to at least export 2 million tons to. It's a win-win situation here. India gets the foreign exchange, precise foreign exchange. Industry gets cash to improve the cash liquidity, and the farmer gets better money. And we have created a market, and we made that market, Ravi.
No, sure, Prakashji. I think I take your viewpoint. You know, you are kind of in a very challenging situation because you want export to happen, and which is, of course, because at a higher price, industry should definitely export. I agree with that. But the challenge with your own assertion is that 24-25 worries you because we have not planted. Then the cane going into fodder worries you, and maybe the crop is lower, but still you would like to export, and we kind of appreciate that.
It's a kind of dicey situation.
So thank you very much. And before I go to the next point, maybe I'll take a question from Atulji.
We have talked. We assume India's consumption at around 28 million tons, right? This time when I was there in the ISMA conference, somebody said 500,000 tons has actually been smuggled into Bangladesh. Yeah. And another 500,000 getting smuggled into Nepal. Yeah. And maybe another 200 or 200,000 tons of sugar still going out of the country as organic sugar or whatever. So should we be penciling in our consumption or disappearance of sugar in India at 29 or 29.2? And if that is the figure, as of 1st of November, would India have more than 1.5 or maybe 1.5 million tons of sugar? Your comment, Nayak Nawari Saab.
Sure. First of all, let's see how this number arrives. 27.5 million tons of domestic consumption last year, expected to be 28 million tons this year. Those numbers are theoretical numbers, and they do compute the so-called smuggling. So I don't think that smuggle 1 million ton, 1.5 million going to Bangladesh and Nepal will add on to 28.5. It would still remain at 28.5, including that number. That's my response to your question.
No, my take is that the delta between Indian domestic prices, domestic values, and international values is so high that smuggling may actually be more profitable than even gold smuggling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the sense, Adulji, you know, with this kind of markups of $200 to $300, market one way or another find ways to, you know, earn that $300. And now press is not around, so I can immediately say that, you know, we know that a lot of sugar, my estimation around 200,000 tons of sugar went as organic sugar, which is not actually organic sugar. And suddenly we had to raise an alarm, and now it is stopped. So, and the export to Bangladesh, and you know, it is clearly seen in the release. When the government gave an extra release, the market price didn't come down at all where the mills were selling. So where did that sugar go? It actually went to the nearby market. Now the number is controversial, whether it is 500,000 to Bangladesh or 500,000 to Nepal. My take is Nepal cannot take 500,000 tons of sugar because their total consumption is 0.3 million tons of sugar. But yes, Bangladesh will take. Then some sugar is also going to Myanmar. So I think before I give my further comment, I would like Rahil to say what is his view on there.
No, I think, you see, the two non-voting states of India, Bangladesh and Nepal, has been buying Indian sugar at the border periphery for a long time. So monthly 10,000 tons, 15,000 tons was always the case. It goes into the border. I mean, it goes in by, on the cycle, two bags per person, or it goes in. So they bring zira or they bring chawal and they take sugar. So that 10 to 15,000 tons Bangladesh and 10,000 or 5,000 tons Nepal always existed. This time, when people in the conference were talking about a million ton smuggle, please understand a smuggler is not a trader. He wants to make money. The only way he loses money when his stock is arrested. Calcutta and Assam are the two markets which are trading at least 1.5 rupees lower than the Maharashtra and Karnataka and UP market. A smuggling market can never be a lower than an all India average market. So if you take the 12-month market of Assam, 12-month market of Tripura, 12-month market of Calcutta, they have been trading 1 rupee lower. The traders are traders. They are stocking there, they are selling there. If a million ton smuggling from those regions would have happened, there would have been 500 more rakes traded there. I trade into that region about 12 rakes a month. My volume have not increased to 13 rakes. So if smuggling would have happened, it would have gone through this periphery. Truck businesses out of eastern UP, I would tend to agree. Nepal and Bangladesh has always been buying our sugar at the periphery. I think smuggling is something which has been notified as a cancer currently, because we are talking about a lower closing stock. But this market always took the sugar from us. So 277 lakh tons or 27.7 million ton has been the release by the government. And you look at the release order which comes in, there are 269 mills does not have the stocks or have been asked not to sell the sugar. Those 269 mills have sold over and above the quota. So that 700,000 tons is technically sold by those mills and consumed in the Indian market or currently being stocked somewhere. So I have a strong feeling that disappearances has been overrated. We have been very, very low on our pipeline stocks. Our pipeline stock for last 2-3 years have been 5 days and 7 days, have now increased to 10 to 15 days. And last, with this government NSW website to give the stock declaration, is now bringing in back the pipeline. That's where you saw that last 7 days the domestic market has come down, the pipeline have shrunk back. So I think smuggling has been over-exaggerated. As regards organic, I'm sure the customs are doing their due diligence. I think we are a country with a lot of HSN code. And I think if the HSN code permits it, it's permitted. I think raising an alarm to something which the custom is officially permitting. See, smuggling is what? Smuggling is misdeclaration. So an onion goes as sugar because an onion can be thrown away in the market and technically it's sugar. So I think in a country like India where we all believe that I cannot import a raw sugar under white sugar context, I cannot export a sugar which is organic as non-organic. So I think if an organic sugar is going as a declaration as organic sugar, the custom is doing their due diligence and the HSN codes permits it. So I think smuggling as a word has been over-exaggerated. I think it's more of innovation by the people who can innovate to do things. I think we need to respect that particular word as well.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think the dilemma is that the HSN code for organic sugar and the normal sugar is the same. So that is the kind of leakage or whatever word you want to do. I say exit from India that has caused issues there. So now coming back to the world market again, we have discussed production, we have discussed prices. Now a little bit on the demand side, kind of what we are seeing on the demand side, that I think this year has been the most difficult year to forecast demand because of the flows which were happening from the origin to the destination, which was not going actually to the consuming country, but it was going via some other country. For example, we have Pakistan to Afghanistan, Pakistan to Iran. Then Ethiopia didn't buy anything officially, but everything went from Djibouti to South Sudan. So, I mean, and the way I see it, that actually the demand has not reduced, only the sugar was not moving to the same country, but it was coming through the channel country. We did a lot of work on the HFCS also, and I spoke to companies like Coca-Cola that HFCS should become more lucrative as compared to sugar. And what our finding is that they were in actually Maxi HFCS already. since last 2-3 years. So there was no further capacity to increase the HFCS consumption as compared to sugar. And then we have countries like in Asia, including India, as FMCG growth is around 18% in terms of biscuit confectionery. Bangladesh is rising consumption, and there is, in any case, 12% growth in the consumption. So in the large countries, the consumption is moving up. So demand to mine level is like 1%, which is being talked. It could be a little bit higher, it could not be lower. So any comments, any disagreements, anything further on that?
No, I think, Ravi, we just spoke, I think both the gentlemen in their presentation was very clear on the consumption side. So none of the syntax, I think, have brought down the consumption. And I think population is rising. I think India growth story is there. Bangladesh growth story is there. So there are developing countries where you are seeing it. I think Africa and Iran is perplexing, because I think Iran has the most tightest stock currently. I think they will come into the market to buy, and that's where I probably see a little bit of demand destructions if they don't see the sugar. And I think Africa is somewhere where demand is rising.
Can I? I will look at it from a little different angle. See, year-on-year growth in the consumption, global consumption, if you see the numbers, it had gone to minus 0.55 2 years back. Now it is gaining back. And today's presentation that we saw, it's already reached 1.5, likely to go to 2% year-on-year growth in the global consumption. I think definitely, despite all the anti-propaganda against the sugar consumption, the consumption is steadily growing. Thanks to India, we are the largest consumer ourselves. And the industrial user, the institutional buyer, bulk buyer of sugar, is continues to buy. And therefore, I think the consumption part, the demand part will steadily grow. It's the production side, which if it doesn't match, then I think we are into a danger area in the near future.
Yeah, thanks. So before I go to the floor for the questions, just a little bit summing up what we discussed, that in terms of production, we have only hope from Brazil or India, and India doesn't seem to be again giving a very good picture with the lower planting. Brazil, even if it happens, we will face the logistics scenario because our logistics are limited. Then our another hope is EU, that they can produce a little bit more next year through the beet crop, but that production comes at a cost of around $800 plus, not minus. On the demand side, we have seen that the demand growth is continuing. It is happening in spite of, in fact, my personal take is that the lack of currency actually increased the demand. Now, how it happened that I can tell off stage, but lack of currency also made sugar more floating, and for several other reasons. And I think the only thing which India has to do is probably face this reality that the world is kind of engaging into a situation that the sugar prices may continue to be high. So I leave to the policy advocate like Mr. Naik Naware to tell the government, rather than being defending all the time, that no, we sugar mill, we'll reduce the price. Let's face the reality and let's explain the reality, because tomorrow you should not be alleged that you don't tell us the reality. So that is also one of the points. So with that note, I would like to take a certain question from the audience. Mr. Kulkarni.
I support the idea of exporting sugar. See, when we are talking about exporting of sugar, I have a different view. I think Mr. Naik Naware has already triggered it on the ISMA meeting. Since the prices are very high, and they are going to remain high, especially for Europe, you yourself tell that it will fall beyond $800 a ton. If you look at the scenario, there is a biggest difference between raw and refined sugar prices. It's, I think, whoopingly high of $150 per ton. But if you look at the 100 years average, it is $100 per ton on an average. $100 per ton is also quite a good figure. And the world normally, apart from India, most it is consumption is of refined sugar. Now is the scenario where we are having a shortage of sugar cane. We do require ethanol. Why it is possible, means, as a technologist I can say it is possible to make refined sugar from raw sugar when the crushing is on. And mind well, the cost of conversion is not going to be very high. In fact, it would be very low.
Yeah. So Mr. Kulkarni came out with something very, very interesting, which I think we can have a kind of conversation on that as well. So what you are basically saying is that import for export, basically. Import
Yes.
raw sugar, refine it in the sugar mills and export back. So, no, definitely that is one of the thing which can improve the production efficiency of the mill, production cost of the mill, because we can use the same mill for processing more. I fully support that idea. But our back of envelope calculation says that it is only viable when the difference between raw sugar and white sugar prices is close to $160, which it was till October, but now March is around $130. Rahil, any comments? Would you like to say anything further?
Kulkarni sir, most of the mills have done this working. So if you look at Maharashtra mills, we would need to import at around a difference of $160, Ravi rightly said. And for UP, we would need about $185 to $190 to refine and re-export. The challenge here is one vessel of 70,000 tons would be about 300 crores. So if you are mixing it during the season, and if you say initial days of the season or at the fag end of the season, because I think the way Maharashtra have increased its installed capacity now, so the mills will try to crush as fast as possible. And probably we will have a crop this year, a crop of about 105 days. So probably mixing it early or later, we would actually, somebody needs to be innovative to import a cargo on the West Coast by investing 300 to 400 crore rupees. And then distributing it to the smaller millers, which can only mix about 300 tons or 200 tons per day. It's not that they will have a massive capacity just to leave the cane on the field and keep only developing it through. Yeah. So I think it needs a lot of hard work by someone to do this innovation, but I think it's very challenging at $120 and $130.
Thank you. Are you done?
Yeah, the reason I ask, see, even the lowest cost of conversion is of alkali sugar, which is not less than 4.5 rupees per kg.
Yeah.
Cost of conversion.
Yeah.
And in this case, the cost of conversion will not be more than 2 rupees.
Yeah.
So there will be around 2.5 rupees per kg saving. Maybe logistic, of course, I'm not good enough in logistics as far as I'm good enough for technical part of it.
No, you are right actually, 2 rupees 50 paise cost of conversion is right, but you have to add up the finance cost, the sugar loss which you will have around 3 to 4%, the cost of taking it from the port to the mill and back from the mill. So,
loss of 3% sugar will be compensated in the gain in ethanol. That's what my thing is.
No, but sugar is coming at around 70 rupees a kg in landed India. So, Atulji had some point before we moved to Mr.
No, just want to complete his one part of your question. I mean, thanks for endorsing my views on requirement of exports. But I'm giving a little different angle to this. See, what happens, today's sugarcane control order does not permit the raw sugar consumption domestically. That is something which you need to bring in. There is no mention of raw in the entire order because it was not thought of. Baba Adam Jamane ke chal raha hai. So, some good news I want to share with this forum that very soon we are going to have a brainstorming session with the government representative, industry representatives in a place like VSI. In fact, we had planned it on 15th September, but it is postponed by a couple of days. Wherein, couple of things we have listed out, and one of the major thing there is to bring in the major changes in the sugarcane control order. इसके पास देखा ही नहीं गया है, बहुत सालों से चलते आ रहा है, उसमें ये सब चीज़ें हम लाना चाहते हैं कि refined sugar sales in India, raw sugar sales in India, if it doesn't export, what are other changes in the sugarcane control order we could bring in? That's just wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Atulji?
Now, I want to ask a simple question. How do you see the white premiums in the next 6 months? And secondly, this is an idea, I'm just throwing it at Nayak Nawaz Saab. Why don't we ask the government, allow exports during the crushing season, say for example, November, December, Jan, Feb, March or whatever, and fix up a quantum with the condition that the same quantity needs to be imported back into the country in the next 6 months. In fact, Turkey does this. When they have their season, they export whatever is surplus, and when their off-season comes, they import. So what's your take on both these two things? How do you see the white premium and this out of the head suggestion?
So I will ask Rahel to take white premium question and export and import later to Mr. Nagnaware. Rahel.
Sir, I'm sure Ravi is hedging the white premium, so he's the best one to answer. But anyway, I think we at Mayor Marek's, I think we are of the opinion that $120 March is not very encouraging white premium. I think we should see a higher white premium. And I think if you're seeing the market where it has been trading for the last, so I think $100 now is out of question for years to come. But I think the range between 140 to 160 would remain a healthy range. As I mentioned, Brazil is still crushing. So I think we still have the availability coming in. But I think we don't have shock absorbers now. So, any shocks to the white premium or to the raw market, I think we don't have a shock absorber. So I think 130 to 170 should be a healthy range for the market.
Yeah, Atulji, I think your suggestion is well taken. Time has come now where to open up, be flexible about those rigid policies which have been going on. And from that point of view only, I just now made known to the floor that another 15, 20 days time, we are going to have a brainstorming session with government. And definitely something good will come out. And this point, we'll take it in that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And since the question of white premium came, I thought I'll just step in. The most difficult thing to trade in the world market are the white premiums because you're trading two markets simultaneously, raws and whites. And I think one of the thing is that, when the white premium went to $160, a lot of refined capacity suddenly came up. Algeria came up, Egypt started. And that has little bit brought more refined sugar into the market. And another big thing which has happened that everybody thought that Russia has bombed even the sugar beet areas or in Ukraine, but practically it didn't happen. So Ukraine is supplying around 700,000 tons of sugar. But having said that, I think I agree with Rahel's point of view. I don't see white premium collapsing at all. If at all, if India gives a very bad news in terms of crop of 24-25, it has a lot of upside to do. So thank you very much. And thank you, dear panelists.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. May I request Raviji to kindly acknowledge both, first, of course, Nayak Naware Sahib for their... Please come here, get a very good picture. Thank you. This side. Prakash Nayak Naware, thank you so much for your contribution to this forum today. Raviji, thank you. And to Rahil Bhai, and please wait back because I want to invite Dr. B.B. Mehta to kindly acknowledge Raviji, please. The one and only young Dr. B.V. Mehta. Shall I hold? Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our esteemed panel today. And thank you, Raviji, for moderating it so well. Thank you, Atul Bhai, for your relentless questions all the time, which are all valid and add a lot to the forum. Thank you. Well, great session coming up. Key drivers influencing ethanol business, and our moderator, the one and only Executive Chairman of Sri Renuka Sugars Limited, Mr.